With the home release of Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan had a few things to say. He spoke out, despite his love of the theatrical experience and theatrical release, that he recognised the importance of home media. And he had a few things to say about streaming services, that if you own things physically, it's a way to make sure no evil streaming service can come steal it from you. Oppenheimer was made by Universal, so eventually it will go onto Peacock, which is a streaming service that, despite seeing it advertised many different places, is not available where I live. I found this whole thing really surprising and a little bit refreshing, to be honest. Surprised that Nolan would be supporting of home media, but also surprised that a director is openly bashing streaming services. Isn't he biting the hand that feeds? Christopher Nolan has been very vocal about the cinematic experience and has recommended people to watch his films on the biggest screen that they can. Oppenheimer was filmed in 70mm IMAX, which is apparently the digital equivalent of an 18K image, which is pretty hefty. And I'm not going to lie, it does make me on one hand feel a bit cynical that you go to a 70mm IMAX screen, it's going to cost a lot more than a regular one. And it's no secret that actors, producers and directors can get a proportion of the box office. So when you see them promote a film and say that you have to watch this in the cinema, you have to watch this in the most expensive seat that you can, there's a little thought in the back of my head that says, oh, they're kind of doing that for the money. The more bums on seats that they get, the more money they can rake in. But Nolan doesn't seem to be that sort of person. Money probably is a factor, and he probably was a happy man when that check came through. But he does come across as someone who is genuinely invested in the experience. Think back to The Dark Knight when he was first introducing using IMAX cameras in films. It would have been cheaper and easier not to do that, but he did it anyway. And he's continued that attitude in all his films, even up to Oppenheimer. There's reportedly no CGI in this film. It's all using special effects captured in camera. It would have been easier to rely on CGI, but Nolan isn't really known for doing the easy option. Nolan is a well-respected writer and director, and some of his films are considered to be the best in recent times. But with him saying that poses the question, why aren't other directors saying this? And I think it relates to what I was saying before, how that it is biting the hand that feeds him. That in his case, the studio needs Nolan more than Nolan needs the studio. But can that be said about most other directors? Nolan is in a unique and envious position. If a prolific yet relatively unknown director takes a swing at streaming services, does that not affect their job opportunities in the future? They may not necessarily have the name or the clout to back that up. It's not that directors don't necessarily think this, but I think they also want to have a job. And this isn't the first time that Nolan has, shared his discontent about streaming services. I mean, that was the whole thing in the split between Nolan and Warner Brothers. And that hasn't really hurt him in the long run, has it? But what's different about this is that he's explicitly endorsing physical media, which I really appreciate. So I doubt that Nolan is the only one having these thoughts and feelings, but it's nice that someone in that position is using their voice to, advocate for not just the cinematic experience, but the proliferation of physical media. And I hope this inspires more and more people to do the same. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see, please subscribe, and I'll see you later.